Good luck with that. I didn't see it. Many of you saw it. CNN hosts the first Socialist Townhall, where Bernie Sanders and AOC said the quiet parts out loud. They don't know what they want to end the shutdown. They couldn't provide a single viable solution for the mess that they themselves have gleefully created. And by the way, those are the real leaders of the Democrat Party. We all know it. AOC and Bernie. Good luck with that. And amid all that, Chuck Schumer is actually bragging that every day gets better for his party. As you know, that is his words, not ours. All this would be laughable if it didn't come at the cost of American families.
So Speaker Johnson weighed in on the Socialist Town Hall that happened last night. That was just an absolute buffoonery. It was a festival of buffoons, mainly the two ones, AOC and Bernie, up there screaming, ranting, raving, talking about everything that's spewing lies. It was just crazy. We got one clip from there, but this is all going on amidst the continuing government shutdown, which is hopefully bearing fruit. I haven't seen a lot of news reports on what Russ Vaught has been cutting, but we've got a little bit of news report on that. But I just want to shout out to everybody who has rolled up. Thanks so much for being here. So we've got the government shutdown, which is dragging on. And at any rate, it looks like this thing might drag on for not just days more, but it could be weeks. The demon rats have become intractable in their demand for benefits and goodies for illegal criminal aliens. And they don't seem willing to back off that. They think this is going to help them. Meanwhile, their polls are sinking. The American people are fed up with them. Everybody knows this is the Schumer shutdown. And Donald Trump is once again making moves in the midst of all this that show the Democrats to be the absolute clown show that they are. It's just amazing. So I wanted to dive in. I've got one clip. I couldn't play too many clips from the Socialist Town Hall because it's just infuriating. And it just makes me want to scream to hear these two complete imbeciles actually open their mouth. But we've got one, which I think basically sums up the whole night in terms of what they were talking about and where they were going and how they were trying to frame all this. Then we've got Speaker Johnson essentially rebutting that with what the shutdown is really all about. And we're going to get into Russ Vaught and then Trump's masterstroke move, which I think just has the American public looking at this whole thing with clear eyes. So let's dive right in. Before we do, if you haven't already, please smash that like button for me. Hit the thumbs up. It really helps us with the YouTube algorithm. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. Turn those notifications on. Even if you've already subscribed, YouTube loves to turn them off. Really appreciate everybody rolling up. Let's dive into this latest clip.
But are you saying that Senator Schumer should not be worried about a primary challenge from you?
I mean,
all right.
No.
Let me jump in on this one. This is what
we're talking about.
That's exactly what we're talking about.
This is what we're talking about.
You have a country that is falling apart. We had a housing crisis, a healthcare crisis, an education crisis, massive income and wealth inequality, a corrupt campaign finance system, and the media says, "Oh, you're going to run? What are you going to run for?" Nobody cares. So run more towards
nobody cares. It's the House Speaker and President Trump and
the millionaires and the billionaires. We got a housing crisis. We got a healthcare crisis. We got an income inequality crisis. The country is not falling apart from that perspective. The country is falling apart if it's falling apart for any reason, it's being torn apart by leftist, radical, socialist violence by people on Bernie's side of the aisle who are very much Bernie supporters who want to tear this country limb from limb and destroy the Constitution and turn it into a communist tyranny. Notice he didn't say we have an illegal alien crisis. Notice he didn't say we have an illegal alien voting crisis. Notice he didn't say we have a crisis of insurrection as armed mobs obstruct federal agents in the discourse of their lawfully given duties. He didn't say any of that. Oh, no. It's all about the millionaires and the billionaires, of which Bernie is one. Bernie is a multi-millionaire. You don't want to tell you that, but he has gotten extremely wealthy being in Congress, insider trading, and doing all sorts of other criminal scams where he leached off the NGO USAID scam network. All right, let's keep going.
The vice president saying it.
Right.
Pardon?
Well, of course, they're saying it to deflect attention away from the real issue.
Exactly.
And here, let me tell you what the real issue is. Let's see if CNN talks about it. We're living in the richest country in the history of the world, right? All right, you tell me why we're the only nation not to guarantee health care to all people, the only nation not to guarantee paid family and medical leave, why we have a $7.25 an hour minimum wage, why we have 800,000 people sleeping out on the street, why we have a president who denies the reality of climate change, why we have oligarchs on top who have more and more power every day. Let's talk about that issue, not her own.
There's the issue. We have a president who denies the reality of climate change. No, there is no climate change. There is no man-made climate change. There never has been man-made climate change. It's an utter farce. And it's an utter farce in order to further redistribute wealth at the hands of government. He wants to control every aspect of your life, including every dollar that you, quote unquote, make, or in his case, in his mind, are given by the system. So therefore, the government can control it. We don't have guaranteed health care for everybody because as soon as you institute a right of service for one person, you institute an obligation of service for somebody else. That is called indentured servitude. It's called slavery. We have a market-driven economy. Our healthcare is the envy of the world. Go to other places with socialized medicine and see how ugly it gets, with people not being able to get care, not for months, weeks, or months. Death lists. Oh, I'm sorry. You're going to cost too much to keep alive, so we're not going to do it. Remember the little boy in England who the English National Health Service, NHS, would not even allow to be flown to America to receive free treatment. No, they were determined that he would perish on UK soil at the hands of the NHS bureaucrats. No. We do not have a healthcare crisis in America. We have problems with healthcare. No, absolutely, no doubt. One of the biggest problems is Obamacare, is the ACA, and the fact that it has doubled and tripled prices for most people. The lie that you can keep your doctor and your plan. No, none of that was true. Everybody knew that was a lie. What they really want is single payer so they control your healthcare, so they can control who gets healthcare and who doesn't. They want to control who gets food and who doesn't. They want to redistribute everything. That's what the socialists and that's what the Democrats are now. They are unabashed socialists. So the shutdown is not about the issues that he just said. No, what the shutdown is really about, as we all know, is really healthcare for illegals and huge pork projects, huge amounts of pork nonsense. Check this out, because this was Speaker Johnson laying out the facts.
And they would send $500 million to liberal news outlets by refunding the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. It would also restore up to $5 billion of American taxpayer funds for wasteful spending for international projects. Here's a couple of examples. This is in their legislation, their counterproposal on the CR to keep the lights open. This is what they want to do. They want to spend $24.6 million of your hard-earned dollars as a taxpayer for climate resilience in Honduras. They want to spend $13.4 million for civic engagement in Zimbabwe. They want to send $3.9 million for LGBTQI plus democracy grants in the Western Balkans. They want to spend $2.9 million of your dollars for desert locust risk reduction in the Horn of Africa. And $2 million for, quote, organizing for feminist democratic principles in Africa. We are not doing that.
We are not doing that. Thank you, Speaker Johnson, because what that $5 billion in pork spending is, it's not actually spending on any of those issues. Realize what that is. That is them trying to reinstitute just a fraction of the USAID money laundering scheme that Democrats have been living off of for the last 40 years. That $5 billion that they want to reinstate for international projects will get laundered through multiple NGOs, each taking a little bit of a cut, and all that money will come back into Democrat coffers, into the DNC General Fund, into the Democrat Congressional Committee, and into individual Democrat politician pockets. Because nobody donates to these fools. The reason that they have had so much money in the last elections is because they have been using your illegally laundered taxpayer money. And that's what they want. They want $5 billion to go back into DNC Democrat coffers. That's what they want. And as Speaker Johnson said, hell no, we're not doing that garbage. Now, while this goes on, while everyone is blaming the Schumer for the shutdown and Democrats for the shutdown, we've got Russ Vought, who is talking about what they are doing on the back end. And I've not seen a lot of this. We haven't seen a lot of news reports. And I don't know if that's because they have been intentional in their guise just to keep it under wraps. But they have been riffing people. They're going to continue to riff people, and they've been cutting wasteful government programs. I don't think they've done nearly enough. I'll say that, and then we'll talk about this after the fact. Here we go.
So are we talking 10 people? We talking 1,000 people? We talking 10,000 people?
We're definitely talking thousands of people. Much of the reporting has been based on kind of court snapshots, which they've articulated is in the 4,000 number of people. But that's just a snapshot, and I think it'll get much higher. And we're going to keep those riffs rolling throughout this shutdown because we think it's important to stay on offense for the American taxpayer and the American people in getting a government that, if there's an opportunity to have less bureaucracy, and think of Green New Deal programs at the Department of Energy, think the Minority Business Development Agency at Commerce that divvies up business grants on the basis of race, think environmental justice at EPA, think about CISA. CISA was an area that we riffed, which was participating in censorship of the American people. We want to be very aggressive where we can be in shuttering the bureaucracy, not just the funding, but the bureaucracy, that we now have an opportunity to do that. And that's where we're going to be looking for our opportunities.
So what we've got is we've got Russ Vought talking about reducing the spending, reducing the bureaucracy, but I have not seen nearly enough of it. We don't need to fire 4,000 people. We don't need to fire 40,000 people. We need to fire 400,000 on up. 400,000 to 1 million. They should be riffing 6 figures, 7 figures worth of government bureaucrats right now, and doing it en masse. You want to see the Democrats come back to the table? Riff 1 million people. You want to see the Democrats come back to the table and open the government? Do what Joni Ernst said and cut $2 trillion out of the budget today. Basically come out with a list of every single government program that is now cut as of today. $2 trillion. She said she's identified $2 trillion in spending that we could reduce. Realize if we fire 1 million people and take out $2 trillion in spending, we can reduce the federal expenditures, the federal budget, down to close to $3 trillion. If we're bringing in $5 trillion in tax revenue, that means we could pay off the national debt inside of about 13 to 15 years. That would mean all we have to do is, after President Trump, elect a 2-term Republican, and we could eliminate our national debt. That's what needs to happen. Now, while all this is going on, while you've got AOC and Bernie, the millionaires and the billionaires, having a socialist meltdown on CNN, while you've got the American people blaming generally the Democrats for the shutdown, you've got Trump in a masterstroke paying our first responders and our military and our federal law enforcement from unused government funds and from donations from the outside. Check this out, because this is playing very well in middle America, and it's making the Democrats look absolutely foolish.
And Mr. President, just one last thank you from the men and women at the FBI. You found a way to get these individuals paid during a government shutdown, our 1811 agents. So on behalf of the FBI, it's a great debt that we owe you, sir. They're now allowed to pay for their families, so thank you.
And the military. Good.
That's right.
Thank you.
FBI and the military. I hope ICE is getting paid, but Trump has found unused research funds and other things that he can divert to actual payroll to keep those who are forced to work to actually get paid so that they're not affected by this shutdown. And America sees it. America sees a president and a party that are looking out for average, everyday Americans. And they are getting what they voted for. They're getting mass deportations. They're getting crackdown on crime in cities. This is phenomenal. The Democrats are this is their death spiral. I think they're literally going to self-immolate over this nonsense. It's crazy. Let me know what you think in the comments. Really appreciate everybody rolling up.